Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Kahlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Pulls on social media.
Hey everyone, on today's episode, Jen explains love spells.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
So I was thinking about the flow of our podcast, and I'm going to move the community discussion post to the beginning. That way we can completely close out last week's topic and move forward with this week's topic.
I like that. It'll bring a little more continuity. And like we said last week, I think last week was just an excuse to talk about Lucy for 45 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. But I loved it. It was great. So we did get a couple comments. Janet said, I loved this episode. So I still haven't heard about your familiar. I would love to hear some stories about your familiar, but I'm glad that you liked the episode. And then You Could Get It, a local drag queen and just all around amazing person in Merced, said, I must meet this adorable creature.
Yes, of course. We need to bring Lucy out into the community and have her wag her tail for everybody.
Yes, definitely. But enough about Lucy. I could do a whole podcast on Lucy.
I feel like we kind of did, but...
No, I mean like a whole separate show.
Oh, yeah.
The Lucy show.
That's true. She could have her own show. Today we're talking about love spells, and much like when we did our episode on Mercury retrograde and timed it perfectly on purpose, wink wink, we are going to be able to time this one perfectly, and it is going to be coming out on Valentine's Day. So I know when we came up with the episode idea, we're like, well, it's kind of near February, so it'd be cool to do like a love spell one or a Valentine's Day one, but it just so happens that we're doing it and it comes out on actual Valentine's Day.
Yeah, when I saw the calendar, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Let's do that.
Well, with that in mind, it'd be good to kind of maybe go over what Valentine's Day is. I think it kind of has to do with love spells. We're definitely going to like love spells themselves, but tell us a little bit about Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so Valentine's Day is basically celebrating Saint Valentine. The Catholic calendar really still dictates a lot of our life because it was like the calendar for a long time. So when Emperor Claudius II, which was an emperor way back in the day, decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families because they were more fearless, they had less to lose, he outlawed marriage for young men as a war tactic, kind of like evilly smart. But Saint Valentine, realizing the injustice, performed marriages in secret for young men that wanted to get married because he felt like, love shouldn't be outlawed. And when Saint Valentine's actions were discovered, the emperor put him to death. So oof. That's what it was celebrating. Yes, big oof.
That's kind of sad, but still, he believed in love and died for it. So that's actually kind of cute. I don't want to do the hot take of like Valentine's is commercialized and it's a Hallmark holiday, because I do think it's a special holiday. It's one of those holidays that you and I usually celebrate more than other ones. We've kind of gone all out. Our first Valentine's was great, and I think we've had really good Valentine's since then. I think this year might be the year we keep it the most low key, but for the listeners, in case they're curious, our plan this year is we are actually going to plant a tree together. So we're doing a citrus tree, maybe lemon, like a Meyer lemon, and we're going to try to plant it on Valentine's. And we can't get it exactly on Valentine's, it'll be during the weekend, but it'll be cool because every time we look back at the tree, that'll be our 2024 Valentine's tree. So as it grows, it'll be really cool to see its progression, and it'll have a good memory tied to it. Full disclosure, we had a lemon tree, and our dog Lucy, who we talked about last week, she thought it would be a good idea to dig it up. So we haven't replaced it since. It's been about a year. But this time we got smart and we got chicken wiring, so she won't be able to get it.
Yeah, she dug it up and she's like, "Aren't you happy I pulled this stick out of the ground for you?" No, was not happy.
Yeah, I was pretty mad. But either way, it'll be a fun Valentine's Day. And I actually want to go to the movies too. That Bob Marley movie's coming out, so I think that'll be good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be fun. But yeah, I think ultimately it's just about showing appreciation for one another. So, yeah, I don't think it needs to have a monetary value to be special. But the only hot take I will say about Valentine's Day is that Saint Valentine wasn't killed on the 14th of February. We don't know when it was, but it wasn't exactly that. But just like a lot of things, the Catholic calendar was like, what pagan holiday can we co-opt so people can buy into Christianity because it seems familiar? On February 15th, back in ancient Rome, there was a celebration called Lupercalia, which was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, which is the Roman god of agriculture and fertility. So they were like, close enough. So that's what they did. So that's my only hot take on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
But, sorry, go
So
ahead.
love spells. We touched upon it a little bit during our curses episode, but much like different topics that we're going to touch upon, sometimes we'll be able to expand on quite a bit regarding something we just mentioned in passing. So this is one of those examples where we did briefly talk about it, but now we're going to go really hyper specific into just love spells this time.
Yes. So love spells are what they sound like. It's a spell to enhance or even create love. It could be as, specific as this person doesn't even look my way and I want them to be madly in love with me, to like, we have a relationship, but I just want the vibes to continue being good. There are also some darker sort of practices, specifically in Latino culture, called amarros, which means to tie. And that is to control someone from cheating on you or from leaving you. So love spells can turn dark very, very quickly. And my hot take on love spells, I think they're more unethical than cursing. Because I feel like most of the time when you curse someone, it's because they did something to you and, they had it coming. Versus like someone's minding their own business, or they're like, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. You're not my type. And then someone wants to sort of bend destiny and have someone be obsessed with them. So I don't know. I don't think that's right. I feel like there is a special person for everyone out there. You just have to find them.
And that's what you talked about last time. He mentioned that we don't really like the love spells because it's, I guess, in a spiritual or metaphysical way, forcing them to do something that maybe they wouldn't want to do on their own. So I definitely understand your take on it, but what is your take on the efficiency of them?
I feel like maybe they could be efficient if you go to someone that knows what they're doing. I think maybe it won't be like the same as true love when two people organically fall into each other, but it'll create proximity and the illusion of love. Sort of like with amarros. Basically what it is, like, you have to keep doing the spell every so often, because if you don't upkeep it, then when the spell is over, then they're going to be like, what am I doing here? And leave. So it's like a continual process.
If you don't renew your subscription.
Basically, that's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, love spells, when you're trying to force someone to love you, they take a lot of work, and yeah, you have to renew that metaphysical subscription for sure.
So you don't believe in love spells. Not that you don't believe in them, I'm sorry, but you don't think they're ethical, but to give the listeners some examples. So can you maybe give some examples of some love spells and how they work, and how, let's say you wanted to do a love spell, how would you go about doing it? Just as the educational part of the podcast.
Yeah. If I really wanted to improve my chances in an ethical way, I think I might try to do more like a friendship spell first. So that way, like, we're friends first and they find me genuinely interesting and hope that something sparks. That's maybe the route I would go. But most people don't do like friendship to love spells. They just go full ham, be in love with me.
And how do those work? I think I've seen maybe just in pop culture, like you got to get a piece of this person's hair or like get something that belongs to them. So what is a how-to guide of how to do like a love spell or a friendship spell?
Yeah. So with love spells and friendship spells, as always, it depends on like the culture and the type of practice that you're trying to engage in. But the ones that I know, for example, at the Botanica, which is like we've mentioned before, like a Mexican occult shop, if you go, there are specific candles that'll say like enhance romance or domination is a really interesting one. But yeah, that's the like make a complete stranger or someone completely uninterested like fall in love with you. So you can burn candles. You can make a sweetening jar. So instead of like a sour jar, yeah, you could add like rose petals and sugar and honey and like a bunch of other stuff depending on the specifics. You know, a lot of herbalism as well.
So if you want to do a sweetening jar, let's say you do, like you mentioned, the honey, the petals, would you have to add something in there that represents the person you want to fall in love with you?
I probably would. Not to be creepy, but if you somehow had access to their hair, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. But if you don't, then maybe just like an index card or a post-it or a piece of paper with like their name. I think that would be good.
Yeah, that sounds really creepy. Or like a picture of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this cartoon from the 90s called Hey Arnold. And the girl in there, her name was Helga. She had the biggest crush on Arnold and had a shrine to him. And I think in one of the episodes, she like steals a piece of his hair for her shrine, and it's really creepy. But what's really funny is she bullies him throughout the whole show. So he's always like, "Why are you being so mean to me?" But secretly, she really really likes him. But the shrine episode is really funny. I think he gets a piece of I keep saying she gets a piece of his hair and then like a gum that he spits out, and she has this weird altar in the closet, and that's kind of what it reminded me of.
There, there's another spell in Latino culture which is called agua de calzón. So for my non-Spanish speakers, that's underwear water.
Which is not the first time we've talked about this on this episode. So, but yeah, let's break it down this time. So, how do you do it? What is it for? And it is just disgusting.
I mean, if you believe in agua de calzón, I don't mean to like laugh or be offensive, but I just can't. I can't. It's really gross, but
Well, tell the people what it is.
yeah. So you get your underwear nice and ripe.
That's so gross already.
And then you take a pot of boiling water, you throw your undies in there, and then you make a tea. And then you somehow get the other person to ingest that tea.
So here's the thing about the underwear water. Okay. If you have somehow access to that person's nasty ass underwear, and you have access to feed them the tea, like you're already in, I think. Like
No. It's not their underwear. It's your own underwear.
Oh, your own underwear.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was their underwear.
No. Why? Why would you?
They're both gross. Why
No.
would you do either one of them? They don't act like one is worse than the other. They're both really bad.
I know, but really, like, just think about it. Why would you feed them their own whatever? Like,
I don't know. Why would you feed them your underwear?
you're
Some fucked up shit.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you get your nasty chonies, hopefully no streak marks. You boil them in water and you feed it to them. I don't know. I feel like if somebody did that to me and I found out about it, like that's it. I would never talk to them again.
Well, you're not supposed to tell
Oh,
them.
I know that, but it's still disgusting. So, beware, people out there on Valentine's. If they're inviting you to coffee or something, just make sure you see that they're not putting anything in your drink, because you could be drinking some nasty ass underwear water. Which I'm very curious how this started, but it is very colloquially accepted in our culture. That's, I mean, we laugh about it and it's silly, but like, I know people have done it. Um, if there's any brave souls out there who are listening, please drop your stories in the section post, because we definitely want to hear about it. You can remain anonymous. You can message Genesis directly, but we definitely want to hear the spicy takes on that one.
Yeah. I would love to hear someone that's done it for sure. I just can't even wrap my head around it, just with like the germs and stuff. Well, I guess if you boil
It's
it.
still gross. I don't think there's any way to justify it. And the fact that I think you said part of it, like, they have to be used, just makes it so much worse. Like, I don't know. It's a bad tradition. Um I don't think it's good. I think the one I could kind of get on board with the most is the sweet jars, just because, I mean, yeah, it's sweet, right? So you kind of go on that. Okay, so let's say you do a love potion, a love spell, a nasty water, and then you get the person. What then?
You hope that while they're under the spell, you can charm them, and then when the spell wears off, they actually love you, or if not, you just keep doing more and more and more.
So what's the timeline of the spell wearing off?
Mm, that I don't know because I don't do it, so I've never really looked it up. But
But what are your thoughts?
mm, yeah, I would assume like if it's hardcore, like this person does not want to affiliate with you at all, but all of a sudden you want them to be obsessed with you, that's going to take more. Sort of like the amarros, right? Like you just got to keep burning those candles or whatever. So I think if it's from like 0 to 100 as soon as the spell is over. Um if there's already a little something there but you're trying to push it the right way, I would say maybe like a month, I would guess. Um, yeah, I'm not really too sure. Oh, and then I forgot to mention with the amarros. So that specific tradition, you actually have to burn candles in the shape of their genitals.
Oh my
Not
goodness.
their genitals like a mole, but like
I was gonna say, if you have access to the genitals where you can make a mold at that point, I don't think you need. Oh my goodness, it just
no,
gets crazier and crazier.
botanicas usually sell candles that are shaped like
Yeah,
penises and vaginas, yeah.
got it. And so you would burn whatever they have going on down there.
Hmm.
See, and that's, I agree with you here. I mean, obviously the skeptic in me doesn't think that any of this works. I think it's a waste, and I think if you like somebody, you throw the cards on the table, and if they don't reciprocate, then that's okay. They're just not meant for you. I think, are there things you can do to be more attractive to the person? Definitely, but I also don't think you should have to change that much of who you are. I know you and I are very happy that we met each other, and I think we talk a lot about how we're glad we're not in the dating scene now. We've heard horror stories. We do have a lot of friends who are single, and it's just not a situation that I would want to be in. But I think when you first meet somebody, you're, maybe you don't show like completely who you are, and as you grow over time, that's kind of the nice present that you get to give the person, of like them discovering who you are. So I don't think love spells work. I think that works. Just, time and friendship is really what builds. But let's say I were to accept that love spells do work. Yeah, it seems so needy, and like being needy is not attractive. Um, but B, it's like we've mentioned before, like, that's why is that somebody you want to be with, that you're working so hard, especially if they don't want to be with you and you feel the need to do like a spell or metaphysical work to get them to fall in love with you just seems very over the top for somebody who doesn't maybe want to be with you. So I'm kind of curious what the mentality is of those people of like, hey, I'm going to do all this, and then you're not really enjoying the courtship or the friendship or the love that's blossoming because it's kind of based on a lie.
Yeah, I have my Venus in Leo, so my love language is definitely like, if you aren't about it, then I'll find someone that's about it. Like, I never ever begged someone to like be with me. I was like, okay, cool, it's not working, peace. But I know that not everyone is like that.
And I think that's my problem with it, right? It's you're starting the relationship on a lie. I feel like, and I know it's silly and we are laughing about it, but I don't know. I think it's kind of a big lie, right? I think even though, again, I don't believe in it, I just feel the deception of it is like not cool.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Um, but if you don't have anyone, that you're really interested in this Valentine's Day season, also consider like a self-love spell. There are also self-love spells for that. You could still use roses. You could work with yellow. You could work with pink. You could work with red, in your practice. But honey, of course, honeysuckle. There's like a lot of things you can work with, oranges and orange peels. Like there's a lot you could do. But yeah, also consider maybe a self-love spell, because as my beautiful mentor, not mentor, but like I guess idol, RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? So
Love it.
yeah.
Another thing about the what is it, amarro spell?
Uh-huh.
Is I think if you're getting to a point where you feel that you need to intervene in any way, whether it's a spell, whether it's tracking your partner's phone, looking through their phone, being up in their business, like if you feel you're getting to that point in the relationship where you're not trusting your partner, that might be something else to reevaluate. I wouldn't go around doing spells to ensure that the person doesn't cheat on you or is doing something behind your back. It might be time to reevaluate where the relationship stands and see if that's somewhere you want to continue or that's somewhere you want to be. Because playing games like that, I don't think it's good. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, definitely not. You, and you as in everybody, you deserve enthusiastic love. You deserve someone that adores you from your best to your worst. You deserve full unconditional love. So definitely don't ever change for anyone else. Don't manipulate the situation. You deserve to be loved as you are.
Tying into some of our previous episodes, I feel like if I was ever in a situation where, let's say I was considering either a love spell or a don't cheat on me spell, I think the route that I would go is more of maybe communication, right? We've talked about in the past, but good days to have communication. We've talked about color magic, good days to, or good colors to wear. I think I would go down that route and see if maybe you can harness or develop your communication skills, because really at the end of the day, that's what determines, a successful relationship, or, if you're trying to, be with somebody. Maybe if you're pursuing somebody, communication doesn't always make the difference because that person might just not be attracted to you and you kind of just need to drop it at that. But if you are already in a relationship and you're like, man, I want this to work out, I want this to move forward, I'm worried that they're cheating, I'm worried that they're gambling or, life savings away, whatever the situation may be, maybe focus more on like the communication magic or the communication metaphysical part of it, and the pragmatic as well. Literally have a conversation with your partner, right?
Yeah, all spell works just help you in the astral, in the unseen plane. You still have to do some work in the physical. You can do all the love spells you want, but if they don't even know your name, you're just like standing in the corner of your classroom or whatever and you just stare at them. They're not gonna know, right? But I've done not a love spell, but I've done like a sweetening spell for us. It definitely was romantic oriented. I got a candle at the Botanica. It was pink. It had a space for me to write both our names in Sharpie. It was really cute, but it
You
wasn't.
never showed that to me.
It was in the bathroom for like the longest time. I wasn't hiding it. It
No,
was
I
just
know. I
there.
don't really look at what's burning in the bathroom.
But yeah, and that wasn't like to force you to feel some type of way. It was just more like I want us to continue having good times, enjoying each other's company, having good communication. So that was more like a vibe enhancer as opposed to like forcing you to do something that you don't already feel.
Here's a good idea for everybody out there. So this Valentine's, if you have a significant other, or maybe you're going on a first couple of dates, a lot of the time roses are associated with the holiday. I know you and I have talked about in the past, like the apothecaries and different spells and stuff. So, maybe save the rose petals from Valentine's, and if the relationship blossoms or works, it's something you can keep in your just arsenal down the line. And like you said, if you want to do like a sweetener or something sweet, you could use the rose petals to make a candle, or boil them down, make some essential oils. I think that kind of thing is more powerful than just any like love spell. What do you think?
I think so too. But while you were saying that, I just thought of something that I don't think I mentioned in the Days of the Week episode. But if you're going to ask somebody out, the best times to do it are Wednesday through Friday. So Wednesday rules communication, Thursday is luck, and then Friday is Venus Day, love day. The best days to go out on a date, I would say, are probably Friday and Sunday. Venus Day, again, more love, and then Sunday, sun rules happiness and pleasure.
Nice. Now I have a question for you. If in your practice somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, I do want you to make me a love spell," would you make them a love spell?
No.
No.
I do readings on partnerships and the vibe, but I wouldn't do a straight up love spell. I think what I would offer instead is like, do you want to do a tarot reading to see where things could improve, if this is even salvageable? Would you want to do an astrology reading to do like a synastry chart or like a composite chart where you combine like both of your charts? It's a little different than a synastry chart. Synastry takes a look at both of your birth charts together, and then the other one is like the conception of your relationship. So I could do one for us based off like our anniversary, and then that'll show like how our relationship is versus just you and me working together. So there's a lot that you could do there.
Nice. Yeah, I love hearing, because I just from briefly listening, is you have given relationship, I don't say advice, but relationship readings and couples readings, and a lot of the things that you have done through either tarot or astrology kind of have come to fruition, correct?
Yeah, I feel like people appreciate my insight and then seeing like how they could improve things. But again, my style is like, I'm not gonna lie to you. So if the cards are saying it's not really worth it, I'm gonna tell you it's not really worth it. I've had people cry and get mad and be like, well, they're mad at first, but then after they realize like why, but they're like, that's not what I wanted to hear. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not the type of tarot reader that lies to you. But then by the end, they're like, you're right. But sometimes, honestly, if it's like, he broke up with me 27 times, will he come back a 28th time? I'd be like, save your money. Just no.
Yeah, and that's what I really appreciate about you. I think sometimes you can, cut through the grease or the fat, like they say. It's like you don't need a tarot reading to know that you're not in a good situation.
I wouldn't gatekeep information though if someone's really gung-ho where they're like, okay, you have your opinion, but I really want this love spell. Then I would tell them, okay, then this is how you can DIY it, or here's a person that actually does them. But I'm not going to do it for you.
You personally wouldn't do it.
I personally would not do it.
Got it. Okay. And then I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about twin flames in this episode. I know we mentioned it in the past again. A lot of these are recalls, but we have a little time to go into them a little bit more. So remind us what a twin flame is and why you hate them so much.
A twin flame is basically like a very popular belief right now, especially through like social media, just because it sounds so cool, of like a person that you are destined to be with. Um, and I don't really know if that's like possible, to be honest. I'm just like, what if your twin flame is in like the mountains of Mongolia? Like, what are you gonna do? You know?
But the belief is like there's one person out there for you in the world.
Yeah, and I also feel like it can lead into really like toxic places. It's like, what if your twin flame is toxic? What if your twin flame is abusing you? Like, and then you feel like I can't leave this situation
Because they're the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's healthy. Again, my Venus in Leo is talking, but you deserve to be adored. You deserve respect. You deserve unconditional love. Like, if you have anything less than that, head out. So you can find someone, or you could give it to yourself. You don't need to find it from another person. You are complete as you are. You need to find another person that enhances your life. You're not missing anything. You're complete as you are. Like how people are like, what do you bring to the table? It's like, no, I have a table. You have a table. Let's push them together and make an even bigger table, a more awesome table. That's kind of how I feel about love and relationships.
A mega table.
Mega table.
All right. So I think we've talked about, I was going to say curses, but no.
Depending on who you are.
We've talked about our takes on them. So I think the people want to know, and if they don't, we're going to let them know anyways. Why don't we tell them about our relationship a little bit? So we're coming up on, so next year we will have been together 10 years. Right? Together. Next year.
Next year, yes.
Yes. So this year we're celebrating our 6th wedding anniversary?
Yes, but 9 years together.
9 years together, which is pretty incredible. I think you and I have been, we've had relationship in the past, but we've definitely been each other's most serious relationship with one another, and it's stuck, right?
Yeah, I think when I tell you about my past relationships, you're like, I could never imagine that. Like, I used to argue with all my exes. I was really bad. I was always like, well, get out of here then. Like, always just rare. And yeah, we've never had a fight like that. We have conversations, but we've never had like a fight.
Yeah, and I think, obviously we're really happy with each other. We don't ever hold contention to each other, but share what our wedding vow promises were to one another.
Yeah. I didn't say in sickness and in health. I said in happiness and in hanger, because we both get hangry sometimes. And then we promised that we wouldn't go to bed angry, which is really funny when you're talking about something and it's 4 a.m. and you're like, bro, I'm so tired. Let's wrap this up. But yeah, we can't go to sleep angry. And then we just promised to love each other, kiss each other, be honest with each other.
Good night kisses.
Yeah. And it's worked so far.
Yeah, and I think our biggest strength is not how much I don't know, like, obviously not everything's perfect, but I think our biggest strength is our communication is like our number one. I think our communication is very spot on. I think if there's ever an issue, we don't let it marinate. We, kind of put our cards on the table, and for the most part, we find middle ground. I don't really think there's anything major we've ever fully disagreed on. We've never had issues with finances. We broke, but we broke together.
Exactly.
We've never really had any major issues. I think even like the mundane stuff that I've heard some people fight about, like, oh, he doesn't clean or she doesn't clean. I mean, I know we're just as busy, and if the house is dirty, it's dirty because we're both tired. Even though I want to say we're a pretty clean couple, like, I don't know, our house is pretty much ready to go at all times. Um, but the things we've heard just colloquially of things that people argue about is like money, right?
That is
Time,
the biggest one.
yeah, money, time, and affection. The mundane stuff like cleaning, dividing chores, and money for sure. We've never ever had any issues.
If anything, it's like, it's not that serious. We'll be okay. I've got you.
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah. That one I've always that was a weird one that people fight about or couples fight about. And it's one of the biggest reasons for like contention or even divorce is money issues. But like, what do you think it is? It's maybe one partner spending what the other partner doesn't know about, or is that basically it?
Yeah, I think so. Or I mean, this is a little unorthodox, but we have separate checking accounts. We only have one bank account together, really, for like mortgage and taxes. As long as we're paying the bills, what we need to pay, we don't fall behind on something. We don't really care what we spend our discretionary income on, but some people do, right? When they like merge finances, I feel like you would probably, not be happy with, I don't know, my skincare. And I think like if I saw what you were spending on Pokemon back in the day, I'd be like, what? But, I just know myself and I know us, and that just works best for us. And
Yeah, and like you said, as long as like the responsibility part is taken care of, whatever happens. But yeah, we've never had any contention with the. I mean, I've never really had that. And have you?
no,
No.
no,
Yeah,
we've always talked about it.
yeah. That one's been a good one. And then yeah, like we said, communication is really good between us. And I notice we just align on a lot of things. I mean, even this podcast, I think the reason why we can have it is because we communicate so well, right? I mean, the whole premise is you explain something, I'm a skeptic about it, but even within that, like, you know, um, back and forth of not agreeing, like we can still find common ground and still find, things that we enjoy about each other. And then I had a friend tell me one time who they've been with their wife for a long time too. He told me something that really stuck, and it was like, as long as you're putting like your partner's need, like maybe not ahead of yours, but just as important as yours, and they're doing the same thing, like there'll always be somebody to take care of you. So in this sense, it's like if I care about your needs and you care about my needs, then we'll be taken care of.
Yeah, the secret sauce is that we had a good friendship first. I mean, don't get me wrong, our relationship blossomed like really quickly. I actually
Like
told your mom
really quickly.
that by month 2 we were looking at rings, and we were like, haha, JK, unless.
No, but that was a joke. That was not serious. That was not serious.
That was serious for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because didn't we go in there and we were just like,
That's all my Libra aspects. That's all my people pleasing aspects. Haha, just kidding. Unless you're down.
we
No,
didn't get married 2 months into the relationship.
no.
We did move in kind of quickly.
11 months.
11 months in, and then we were engaged for a few years, and then we got married.
We mainly were engaged for that long because we were saving up money and DIYing a lot of our wedding.
Yeah, that's true. So okay. Yeah, but that's our relationship. Not to say that we're the beacon of what a perfect relationship is. I don't think there is a such thing as a perfect relationship. But it's nice to have your buddy, right? It's nice that when you have good news, I mean, you're pretty much the first person I want to share with. And if I have bad news, you're the first person I find to comfort me. And yeah, I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah. Again, like I said, the secret sauce is really friendship. I really feel like that's the best love spell, if you will, investing in the friendship and also investing in yourself. Because I feel like you're a better partner when you're healed, when you're balanced. Like, if you know you need to work something out, or even something as simple as like you know you need to get a full 8 hours of sleep because otherwise you're cranky. You can show up better when you also pour into your own cup.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for the very like modern, very trendy things out there, what would you say are our love languages?
Mine, as in like how I receive a lot of love, like what I feel the most is words of affirmation.
Hmm. Hmm.
I would say that's my biggest one. I really, really like words of affirmation. I feel like you like everything, all of them, all the
Here we
affection.
go, that narrative that I'm super bougie. Yeah, I think I like a little bit of everything, but I think acts of service is my big one.
Hmm.
I've told you this once and I've told you this twice, many times, but to me it's just the little things, right? The grand gestures, they're nice and I don't take them for granted. I think we've given each other grand gestures, but it's really the little things that stick out to me. The hey babe, I'm thirsty. Do you mind getting me a glass of water? And you just never hesitating or huffing and puffing or get it yourself. Like we've never snapped at each other like that, which I think is beautiful. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but just having somebody care for your needs, like I talked about earlier, really makes a difference. And I think that kind of breeds longevity in a relationship.
Hmm.
One of the running jokes, two running jokes that we have was that you did do a love spell to get me. You only spent $20, and you're like, it's the best $20 I ever spent.
I just needed to get my foot in the door. No.
And then the other running joke that we have is as serious as getting a marriage license is, and as serious as signing a marriage contract is, it pales in comparison to signing a mortgage together.
Oh my God.
I think I know it's weird to say, but if you want to test your relationship, that's been our biggest tester, I think.
Yeah, well, not only that, if y'all don't know our story about moving, going back to the Mercury retrograde episode, like we both were unemployed, lying to our underwriter, saying, "Oh yeah, we totally have jobs." Now we have jobs. We're making more than we've ever made on our day jobs, but I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this, babe, and we did it.
Yeah. And that was a true test, I think, of our relationship. There was contention there, but nothing that was irreparable, I think. And what really helped, I think, is we were kind of both in the trenches. I feel like usually I'm a little more of the more level-headed one, more like things will work out, things will work out. But this was one of the few cases where I think you stepped up and were able to take the reins a little bit more on the emotional side, just for both of us.
It's because I have an anxiety disorder. So when the apocalypse comes, I'm like, oh, I'm ready. Anything less than the apocalypse, I'm worried it's getting worse. So at that point, like, we were both unemployed. We were signing a mortgage and we had our backs to the wall. And
no money. I mean, we spent it all on the house. So like,
and I was like, I'm at rock bottom and I'm comfortable here because there's nowhere to go but up. So that's just me and my generalized anxiety.
Yeah, and that was a good test, and that's something we talk about pretty consistently. That I don't think we could ever do something like that again.
No, never again. But anyway, moving along. So next week's topic, we are going to talk about glamour magic.
So that is my contention. I always want to be the one who announces next week's episode, and you always steal my thunder on that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, totally kidding. But yes, next week we are doing glamour magic. Do you want to give the people maybe just a little preview of that?
Yeah, so it is magic to enhance your beauty and appearance to other people. So instead of like, well, I guess you could say it's like a filter for your energy.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to combine a lot of things like color magic and things we've already talked about, but this is great. I've never heard about it until very recently, until you started talking about it. You have an event coming up too, right?
Yes, so I'm not leading the event, but my coven sister is, Vanna. She is going to teach a glamour magic workshop. I'll be there running around, getting everything together, but I will post the event details, and then if you're interested and if you're around Merced, feel free to stop by.
So one last thing before we wrap up the episode, I do want to do a little quick giveaway. I know I'm spraying it on you, but I want people to post their love stories in the community post, and we'll choose our favorite one. And maybe that person gets like a love reading, maybe like a 3 card. Or what do you think is appropriate?
Mm, you know what? I've actually been wanting to do a not a synastry reading, but something called like a composite reading where you're reading the relationship. So it's like your relationship communicates like this, your relationship drives like this. So
Okay.
actually, you know what? That's perfect timing because I've been thinking about doing a giveaway for that. So
Perfect. So drop your love story. If you have a partner, tell us about how you met your partner, what your favorite thing is. If you don't have a partner, tell us about maybe a past like love story you have. If you've never had a partner, I'm sorry. No. If you've never had a partner, tell us what you would want in a partner. So just anything related to love, give us your love story. We'll choose the our favorite, and then Genesis, you'll get a reading from Genesis.
yes, I'll do a 30-minute reading on your relationship. Yep.
Perfect. And we'll post more details in the community post. So, all right.
All right. Remember, you deserve unconditional love just as you are, and the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off.
Bye.